I'm about to give you the secret to actually enjoying your life as a gluten-free person, and that is through this gluten-free chicken cutlet recipe. Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly's Clean Kitchen, where I teach you how to cook in an easy and fun way, and today we are going over how to make my gluten-free chicken cutlets. I personally was diagnosed with celiac disease about a decade ago, which is one of the reasons I went into the food industry, and the one thing I missed the most when I found out I had celiac disease was a crispy chicken. But guess what? I make them all the time now, and they're just as good as the original. So much so that if you made these for guests, I actually don't think they would know they were gluten-free. So let's get to it. We're gonna go over the ingredients really quick because the ingredients are actually the most important part to a successful gluten-free chicken cutlet, because I find a lot of gluten-free ingredients are not made equal. First, we're gonna get chicken breast, of course. I like to get small, skinnier ones because it's easier to pound those thin. Then for the breading, you're going to need eggs, a good gluten-free 1-to-1 flour. I like Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 and also King Arthur's. And in a pinch, you can use cornstarch or arrowroot. It just doesn't stick quite as well as a gluten-free flour in my experience. Then the most important ingredient, a good gluten-free panko breadcrumb. Now this brand is quite literally the only one I use. It is the only one I have found that actually resembles a panko breadcrumb. The rest like turn soggy almost or don't stick. This one though is like a real life panko. Brand is Alia's, I think that's how you pronounce it, Italian breadcrumbs. They have normal breadcrumbs too. Absolutely love them. Then of course, salt, pepper, seasonings like garlic powder or Italian seasonings to put that into the flour to bread the chicken. And then finally, you need a high smoke point oil for the pan frying. I personally love avocado oils, especially Chosen Foods.
Now let's get to cooking. First things first, you always want to prep the chicken. Take a chicken breast and butterfly it open, aka you cut it in half, but leave one side attached so you get a thinner, more flat breast like so. Do this with all of the breasts, and then we're going to cover them with plastic wrap and going to pound them thinly with a meat mallet. The reason we cover them with plastic is so that chicken particles don't fly everywhere and dirty your counter. Now the goal of the pounding is to create a thin, even layer of chicken. This will allow for even and quicker cooking. And then we're going to coat with salt and pepper on each side. Now here's a tip, make sure you season the chicken at least 15 minutes before breading it to ensure the salt can permeate the meat and it won't fall off it once you bread it. Now for the breading station, you will need 3 separate bowls, and into the first one, crack 2 eggs and whisk in 1/4 cup of water to make the egg wash. Then in the second bowl, we're going to do gluten-free flour, a mix of salt, pepper, garlic powder, and Italian seasonings to really flavor the flour. And then in the last, we're going to go in with the gluten-free panko breadcrumbs. Next, we're going to bread each chicken cutlet. The order for any breading station like this is always dip your chicken into the egg wash first, let it drip off. You don't want it to be like super eggy or it'll be like too liquidy going into the flour. Then we coat in the gluten-free flour on both sides so it's even coating like so. Then we go back into the egg wash so it's evenly coated, and then finally into the breadcrumbs. Now the reason we do the flour first and not just straight into the breadcrumbs is because the crumbs will actually stick better with the flour layer first, which is especially important with gluten-free cutlets since gluten is usually the thing that helps stick to the chicken.
Now this part is super important. We need to rest this breaded chicken for like 30 minutes for the coating to stick better. Now you can do this room temp. I find if you put it in the refrigerator, it works even better. But if we were to fry these off right now, a lot of the coating would not stick. Like it almost needs like 30 minutes to like chill and get that coating to stick more. So I'm gonna pop them in the fridge for 30 minutes.
Once those have chilled, we can start the cooking process. You are going to use a stainless steel pan over medium heat and pour in a thin layer of avocado oil and wait until that gets hot. The easiest way to test that is add a wooden spoon, and once it's bubbling like so, it is hot enough to add the chicken. Add the chicken cutlet. Now don't overcrowd the pans. You might have to work in batches like I'm doing here, cooking one at a time. And just cook it on each side until it's golden brown, which honestly this takes around 2 minutes per side. It goes very quickly, and then flip over to the second side. Once it is golden on both sides, you can remove it and do the same with the other cutlets. At this point, the chicken usually isn't cooked through all the way since it's only around 2 minutes per side. So we're gonna finish cooking it in the oven until the internal temperature is 155 or above. The reason we will be cooking in the oven to finish it instead of the stove is because if we kept them on the stove until they were done, the outside would definitely burn and ruin the chicken. Definitely place them on a wire rack over a sheet tray so they don't get soggy, and I like to place them in a 400-degree oven until they hit that internal temperature that I'm looking for. It results in the best gluten-free chicken cutlet you will ever have that is super crunchy on the outside and moist and perfectly cooked on the inside. Everyone I've made this for has absolutely loved it, and you are going to love it too.
Literally the best chicken in the world. And that's how you make the best gluten-free chicken schnitzel that no one can even tell is gluten-free. Make sure to follow along for more gluten-free cooking videos just like this.